all, but I know what he is. I know.
Leonard Ellerbe has sparked a fresh wave of boxing headlines after suggesting Floyd Mayweather may be dealing with serious financial problems, and you won't believe how quickly that claim reignited the conversation. At the very same time, the fractured relationship between Mayweather and Gervonta "Tank" Davis continues to dominate the sport. Coach Kenny Ellis has now stepped in, urging both camps to stop the public back and forth before things spiral even further. When asked how Tank's departure affected his relationship with Floyd, Ellis made it clear that he still respects Mayweather, but believes Davis is now surrounded by an entirely different circle. He also cautioned Floyd against letting the feud continue, arguing that this situation has grown into something much bigger than boxing. According to Ellis, when personal disagreements keep escalating, especially when families become part of the conversation, the outcome can become impossible to predict. He emphasized that this isn't just a boxing issue anymore, but a real-life situation, encouraging everyone involved to move on before unnecessary damage is done. His comments come at a critical point in Tank's career, especially after he returned to the ring with an explosive knockout victory over Frank Martin. Instead of letting Tank enjoy the spotlight, Floyd Mayweather appeared to shift the conversation in a completely different direction, and that's where things became even more interesting. The undefeated legend uploaded an old sparring video featuring Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis, instantly reopening one of boxing's longest-running debates. Ever since that training session, both fighters and their camps have told completely different stories about what really happened behind closed doors. The nearly 20-minute footage surfaced online shortly after Davis stopped Frank Martin, leaving plenty of fans wondering if the timing was intentional. From what many viewers saw, the video seemed to support Haney's long-standing belief that he held his own and even gained confidence from that session. Will this decades-old gym footage actually change how fans view Tank? Probably not, but it does highlight how personal this rivalry has become in the eyes of the boxing world. A growing number of fans now believe that drama has crossed the line and should eventually be settled once and for all. Right in the middle of all this chaos, rapper Mace introduced a surprising idea during a recent podcast appearance. Unsurprisingly, his proposal centered around a potential showdown between five-division champion Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis. Tank Davis, who has built relationships with major names in entertainment, has grown into one of boxing's biggest attractions, making a fight with Floyd Mayweather an event that would capture worldwide attention. During a recent episode of the It Is What It Is podcast, Mace and co-host Cameron broke down the increasingly public feud between the former promoter and his former superstar fighter. The tension escalated after Mayweather appeared to throw subtle shots at Davis, prompting Tank to accuse Floyd of dealing with financial issues while stranded in Dubai over unpaid obligations. Mayweather didn't stay quiet for long, firing back with claims that Davis's fight against Frank Martin had nearly fallen apart because of cancellation problems. As the war of words continued, Mace came up with what he believed was the perfect solution. He argued that if Floyd wanted to keep talking tough, there was only one real way to settle it: get inside the ring and handle business. The rapper suggested a 5 or 6 round exhibition, believing both men could finally move beyond the bad blood. Even so, Mace admitted making a fight like that happen would be far easier said than done. If this fight ever became reality, Tank Davis would probably enter unfamiliar territory for the first time in his career, and that's saying something. Despite being one of boxing's biggest stars at just 29 years old, Davis would still be standing across from a global icon whose legacy stretches far beyond championships. Floyd Mayweather's unmatched resume, worldwide fame, and enormous financial success have kept him at the top of boxing conversations even at 47. That naturally raises the question everyone keeps asking: could these two generations actually collide inside the ring? Believe it or not, an exhibition between Mayweather and Davis isn't as impossible as it might sound, especially after the massive buzz surrounding crossover mega events in combat sports. Unlike some older legends, Floyd has remained active in exhibition bouts and continues sharing the ring with younger opponents. With another exhibition against John Gotti III already scheduled, adding Tank Davis to that list would undoubtedly become one of the biggest attractions in boxing. Meanwhile, after the Haney-Tank sparring footage exploded across social media, former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson studied the tape and pointed to one explosive sequence where he believed Davis landed in a position that could have ended the fight. During that exchange, Tank suddenly unleashed a rapid combination that immediately caught everyone's attention. Breaking down the footage, Demetrius Johnson noticed a subtle detail that many fans completely overlooked, and he believes it revealed exactly why Tank is so dangerous. He explained that Davis's position behind Haney's shoulder created a tactical advantage that opened the door for a potential fight-ending attack. According to Johnson, Haney had only two difficult choices: turn back into Tank's power or retreat toward the corner where his movement would become even more restricted. He described that angle as an extremely dangerous place to be and said it perfectly showcased the difference between Davis's explosive instincts and Haney's technical style. The footage itself came from an older session at Mayweather's gym, where Haney and Davis battled through an intense 18-minute sparring match spanning 6 rounds under demanding doghouse rules, where victory comes by knockdown or when someone quits. Neither fighter gave an inch throughout the grueling session. Shortly after Tank knocked out Frank Martin, Mayweather released the video, and many viewers felt Haney looked stronger over the course of the workout. Because of that timing, countless fans questioned whether Floyd intentionally posted the footage to shift attention away from Tank's biggest win.
There's one fighter who has experienced both Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney firsthand, giving him a rare viewpoint that very few people in boxing can offer. Ryan Garcia was knocked out by Tank after absorbing a devastating body shot. But months later, he shocked the sport by handing Haney the first loss of his professional career. Of course, Garcia's failed drug test has since cast a shadow over that victory, leaving plenty of questions about what ultimately happens with the result. Even with all the controversy surrounding him, King Ryan took to X and surprised fans by praising Haney's showing against Davis, suggesting Devin gave Tank one of his toughest tests. He posted, "Damn, Devin Haney stopped Tank Davis. That's crazy. I want to see that fight because it would be a great one." Fresh off his 8th-round knockout win, Gervonta Davis received an unexpected surprise that instantly grabbed everyone's attention. Ryan Garcia, the same opponent Tank stopped in April 2023, stepped into the ring after the fight wearing a shirt that immediately got fans talking. Across the front, it read, "Tank's #1 fan," while the back carried a bold message calling for a rematch. Rather than reacting negatively, Davis smiled, welcomed the moment, and the two former rivals shared a respectful embrace that showed there may still be unfinished business between them.
No, big dog. That motherfucker look like he's 200 pounds, dog. You know this. Trent, don't look like he's 200 pounds. You gotta run back. Hey, look, go.
Leonard Ellerby's departure has created another major storyline in boxing, and the questions surrounding Gervonta Davis just keep getting bigger. During the post-fight press conference, a reporter asked Tank about the passionate fan who jumped into the ring after his victory, but the answer caught everyone off guard. Smiling, Davis revealed that the mystery supporter was actually Ryan Garcia. Looking back on their brief interaction, Tank laughed and described Garcia as unpredictable, saying Ryan was already pushing hard for another fight. According to Davis, Garcia wants the rematch at 142 pounds instead of 135, but Tank confidently insisted the outcome would be exactly the same if they met again. Garcia later backed that up on social media, making it clear he still wants another shot at Davis as long as the weight terms are fair. For now, though, that rematch appears unlikely because Garcia is still dealing with the fallout from his positive drug test after the Devin Haney fight. While that debate continues, UFC champion Sean O'Malley stirred up another conversation by suggesting a creative way to deal with Davis's famous rehydration clause. Tank previously used that clause against Garcia, limiting how much weight Ryan could regain after the official weigh-in. Many fans still believe that restriction played a significant role in Garcia's defeat. O'Malley then jumped into the discussion on the TSS podcast, boldly claiming he believes he has the tools to stop Gervonta Davis under the right circumstances. During the same podcast, Sean O'Malley and his co-host broke down Tank Davis's knockout win over Frank Martin while debating what weight class Sean would need if that crossover fight ever became reality. Much of the discussion centered around the rehydration clause that became one of the biggest talking points after Davis fought Ryan Garcia. O'Malley jokingly claimed that if he signed to fight Tank, the contract might even require him to shrink from his actual height of 5'11" down to 5'8" at the weigh-in. The joke got plenty of laughs, but it also reflected O'Malley's confidence and his ability to entertain while promoting a potential fight. Even with the humor, he acknowledged how difficult boxing is at the elite level and showed respect for the challenge Davis would present. Since the two athletes are relatively similar in size, many believe the matchup is at least physically possible if both sides ever agreed on the terms. O'Malley has repeatedly predicted that he would knock out Gervonta Davis if they ever shared the ring. Interestingly, this wasn't the first time he made that claim, as he also called out Tank shortly after Davis knocked out Ryan Garcia. Boxing coach Kenny Ellis, however, completely dismissed that idea, insisting Davis would have very little trouble defeating O'Malley in a boxing match. Kenny Ellis went even further by explaining that MMA fighters simply don't develop the same level of polished boxing skills as world-class professional boxers. Those comments clearly caught Sean O'Malley's attention, and he eventually responded during an August 2023 episode of The Timbo Sugar Show. Defending himself, O'Malley argued that his striking is far more dangerous than people give him credit for, pointing to both his powerful right hand and his sharp left hand. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather announced a major shakeup inside Mayweather Promotions by revealing that Leonard Ellerbay would no longer serve as the company's CEO. The announcement confirmed months of speculation, with former Golden Boy executive Richard Schaefer expected to guide the promotion into its next chapter. Although rumors had circulated for quite some time, Ellerbay had consistently denied that he was preparing to leave the company. Even so, many observers question whether simply replacing Ellerbay with Schaefer will be enough for Mayweather Promotions to compete with established giants like Top Rank, Matchroom, and Golden Boy. Floyd Mayweather certainly has the financial resources to sign elite talent and strengthen Mayweather Promotions, but building another superstar is much easier said than done. The long-term future of the company will ultimately depend on whether it can identify young fighters capable of becoming boxing's next major attractions. Although Gervonta Davis developed into one of boxing's biggest names under Mayweather Promotions, many still believe he hasn't reached the massive pay-per-view success enjoyed by stars like Canelo Alvarez. Addressing Leonard Ellerbay's departure, Floyd explained that after years of dedication, Ellerbay decided to step away from the CEO position to spend more time focusing on his family and personal life. Mayweather thanked him for his years of commitment and credited him with helping transform the company into a respected promotional brand. At the same time, reports continue suggesting that the relationship between Floyd and Gervonta Davis has grown increasingly strained. According to those reports, Tank has begun making more independent moves following their rumored fallout. During a pre-fight press conference, Davis made it clear that while he still respects Leonard Ellerbay, he no longer feels the same about Floyd Mayweather. Even with all the tension, Ellerbay has continued supporting Tank, including during his victory over Frank Martin. Throughout Davis's rise, Leonard Ellerbay remained one of his biggest supporters, and that close relationship has fueled speculation that it may have played a role in his departure from Mayweather Promotions. At the center of the disagreement appears to be the very different personalities of Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis. Floyd has built his brand around luxury, business success, and calculated decisions, but critics often argue that money has become his primary focus. Tank, on the other hand, has developed into a more outspoken figure who may feel limited by Floyd's influence over his career. Reports suggest the situation became even more heated after Davis accused Mayweather of interfering with petitional fights and making damaging comments behind the scenes. Floyd has largely stayed away from direct confrontations, choosing instead to respond only occasionally through interviews and social media. The ongoing dispute has become one of boxing's biggest talking points, with some fans viewing it as a battle over power and influence, while others see it as a student finally stepping out from his mentor's shadow. Whatever the real reason may be, the fractured relationship between Mayweather and Davis has become one of the sport's most fascinating storylines. Even in retirement, Floyd continues making headlines because of the tension surrounding his former star fighter. Now, the biggest question is whether Mayweather Promotions can continue thriving without the leadership structure that once helped build its success. With Leonard Ellerbay no longer serving as CEO, many fans are wondering whether Mayweather Promotions can continue delivering the blockbuster events that helped establish its reputation. Ellerbay's loyalty and long-standing partnership with Floyd Mayweather played a major role in developing the company and guiding fighters like Gervonta Davis into boxing stardom. Now that both Ellerbay and Tank have moved away from that original structure, concerns about the promotion's future continue to grow. Floyd's uncle, Jeff Mayweather, recently addressed those concerns while discussing younger fighters connected to the organization. After years of service, Ellerbay stepped away from his position, and Floyd publicly praised his leadership, dedication, and everything he contributed to building the company. Mayweather also assured supporters that the promotion would continue operating successfully despite the leadership change. Tank Davis, however, has openly criticized Floyd and even warned younger fighters against signing with Mayweather Promotions. Davis argued that joining the company could actually hurt a fighter's career, while questioning Floyd's effectiveness as a promoter. Jeff Mayweather revealed that he has heard similar concerns from several young fighters who believe the company no longer provides the same opportunities it once did. He explained that many prospects have complained about inactivity and the lack of meaningful fights to help them progress. Although Jeff admitted he wasn't sure who deserved the blame, he emphasized that these young fighters are facing a real shortage of opportunities and will have to fight through those challenges if they want to succeed.
A lot of young fighters saying that, they're not getting fights, and who's to blame for that? I have no idea. But, so basically, if you're not getting work.
Jeff Mayweather seems completely comfortable with the idea of working alongside Richard Schaefer, but whether Leonard Ellerbay would have welcomed that same partnership is a question that still has boxing fans talking.
The timing of Ellerby stepping away and Schaefer taking over as CEO has only fueled more speculation about what the future of Mayweather Promotions will actually look like. While some people believe Ellerby's departure could leave a major void inside the company, Jeff isn't buying into that concern. Instead, he has publicly backed Schaefer, saying the veteran executive has more than enough experience to guide the promotion into its next chapter. In Jeff's view, bringing in the former Golden Boy Promotions executive wasn't a random decision, but a carefully planned move built on years of proven success in the boxing business. He pointed to Schaefer's role in promoting massive events, including Floyd Mayweather's historic showdown with Oscar de la Hoya, as proof that he understands exactly how to operate at the highest level of the sport. Jeff also believes Schaefer's experience working alongside de la Hoya aligns perfectly with the direction Mayweather Promotions is trying to take moving forward.
Good move. I mean, very experienced. He's been involved in really big fights. Was involved in one of the biggest fights, and that's Floyd and De La Hoya. And he used to work with De La Hoya. So, I mean, I think that should.
The conversation didn't stop with Leonard Ellerby. As more details surfaced, attention shifted to how the former CEO handled the growing rift between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis, and you won't believe how carefully he managed that balancing act. Even though Floyd and Tank had their share of disagreements over the years, Ellerby consistently acknowledged Davis's accomplishments and never hesitated to praise what he achieved inside the ring. Things changed after Tank officially separated from Mayweather Promotions, as Floyd began making comments that many fans interpreted as subtle shots aimed directly at his former star fighter. The feud escalated even further once Davis started claiming that Mayweather was dealing with problems in Dubai, turning what had been quiet tension into a very public war of words. When Jeff Mayweather was asked about Ellerby's role in the middle of all that drama, he admitted it wasn't an easy position to be in. Jeff explained that people often expect those closest to them to pick a side, but he believes Ellerby stayed professional by focusing on business instead of getting dragged into the personal conflict. With Ellerby gone, Richard Schaefer is now expected to step into a similar leadership role at Mayweather Promotions. The Swiss executive originally built his career in banking before becoming one of boxing's most respected promoters during his successful run with Golden Boy Promotions from 2000 through 2016. After leaving Golden Boy, Schaefer launched promotional ventures such as Ringstar Sports and Probellum, experiencing both successes and setbacks along the way. One of his greatest achievements was helping promote several blockbuster Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view events, earning the respect of the undefeated champion. In an interview with Boxing Scene, Schaefer spoke highly of his long-standing friendship with Floyd, saying the two have enjoyed years of success together. He described Mayweather as a worldwide brand and explained that his goal is to combine his own promotional experience with Floyd's global influence to grow the company far beyond traditional boxing. While Mayweather Promotions was entering a new era, another controversy suddenly exploded online, and this one had nothing to do with boxing inside the ring. Reports began circulating that Floyd Mayweather could be dealing with legal and financial complications while visiting Dubai, instantly sending social media into overdrive. Those claims came from Boxing Insider and International Boxing Hall of Fame member Rick Glazer, who posted the information on X. According to Glazer, Floyd was facing a serious financial issue overseas, although he never revealed the exact amount involved. He also claimed the matter had nothing to do with boxing and suggested Mayweather was trying to resolve it before being able to leave the country. Glazer went even further by saying one of his Dubai sources alleged Floyd was tied up in the government and court system because of a significant unpaid debt, noting that financial obligations are taken extremely seriously there. That immediately led many fans to revisit Gervonta Davis's earlier comments, questioning whether Floyd had actually been unable to leave Dubai. Although Mayweather shared photos from the trip, he has remained silent regarding the rumors, only adding more mystery to the entire situation. Glazer's claims resurfaced shortly after Tank had already suggested Floyd was experiencing financial issues overseas. When responding to a fan, Davis claimed Mayweather simply needed to repay the people he allegedly owed, while insisting the reported situation had nothing to do with their personal relationship. It's also worth remembering that Glazer and Mayweather haven't always had the smoothest relationship, making the entire story even more controversial. As speculation continued to spread, Floyd Mayweather delivered a passionate message that many people believed carried a hidden target. Without naming anyone directly, Floyd criticized fighters who spend more time protecting their image than improving their craft inside the gym. Reflecting on his own journey, he said people often admire the luxury cars, expensive lifestyle, and fame, while completely ignoring the years of sacrifice required to build that success. According to Mayweather, everything he accomplished came from discipline, consistency, and giving up things most people were never willing to sacrifice. He admitted it frustrates him when fans only focus on the rewards without appreciating the difficult process that created them. Even after becoming one of boxing's wealthiest athletes, Floyd insisted he never relaxed his training habits or lowered his standards. He argued that too many fighters today care more about appearances than developing real skills, which is one reason many eventually struggle financially. Mayweather emphasized that even while earning hundreds of millions of dollars, he remained committed to working every day inside the gym. He closed by criticizing fighters who prioritize designer clothes, jewelry, and social media over improving their abilities, saying misplaced priorities often lead to financial problems later in life. Gervonta Davis, however, wasn't convinced that Floyd's message was just general advice, and his response made it clear he took the comments personally. Tank quickly fired back on Instagram with a blunt message aimed directly at his former mentor. Davis argued that instead of commenting on other fighters, Floyd should focus on addressing the reports surrounding his own situation in Dubai. After reposting Mayweather's comments, Tank accused Floyd of criticizing others while allegedly dealing with financial disputes overseas himself. What was once viewed as one of boxing's strongest mentor and student relationships has now transformed into one of the sport's most public feuds. The bond that once appeared unbreakable has turned into a rivalry filled with constant public exchanges and criticism from both sides. Tank's latest response only poured more fuel on the fire. After a fan questioned whether Floyd was actually being held in Dubai and tagged Davis online, Tank didn't hesitate to keep the conversation alive. Davis claimed Mayweather needed to repay the people he allegedly owed and challenged him to publicly deny the accusations if they weren't true. He even suggested Floyd had been unable to leave Dubai for an extended period. In response, Mayweather uploaded several videos that appeared to mock Davis, portraying the younger fighter as someone who wasn't nearly as tough as he claimed. The clips featured Tank dancing on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, adding another chapter to their growing social media feud. The most surprising part of this entire story is how dramatically the relationship between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis has changed over the years. Tank was once viewed as Floyd's hand-picked successor, learning from one of boxing's greatest champions while building his own undefeated career. After signing with Mayweather Promotions in 2015, Davis quickly established himself as one of boxing's brightest stars, putting together an unbeaten record of 26 victories. Everything changed in 2022 when Tank decided to leave the promotion in order to take complete control of his own career. The breaking point reportedly came after his final fight under the Mayweather banner against Rolando Romero. Davis publicly announced that it would be his last bout with the company and accused Floyd of limiting opportunities that could have taken his career even further. Tank also claimed the Romero fight was pushed because his promotional contract was coming to an end. Their public disagreements have become a perfect example of how complicated the relationships between fighters, promoters, and managers can become once business and personal issues collide. While Davis continues pursuing independence, promoters still play an enormous role in shaping boxing careers behind the scenes. To make matters even more interesting, Ryan Garcia later suggested that the feud between Tank and Floyd may have been influenced by rumors involving Mayweather's daughter, adding yet another twist to one of boxing's biggest ongoing dramas.
I already knew about all that, though. Once Gervonta, Floyd Mayweather's daughter, and that's not even a secret. That's not something I'm exposing.
Oh wow, that's
After somebody did that to my daughter.
Right, I thought you and Jaco had the deal that you were gonna fight after the Haiti fight, and he said you were gonna lose.
Y'all not even